Good morning, fellow patriots.
Good morning.
Welcome to Red Friday. You've joined us for the 338th consecutive Friday meeting of the East Valley Red Friday Patriots. Believe me, we sincerely appreciate your presence here this morning, and we thank you for supporting the mission of Red Friday. Welcome all. You know, on this past Veterans Day, Monday, November 11, the folks that you see here on the screen represented our East Valley Red Friday Patriots group in the Apache Junction All-American Veterans Day Parade, and unhesitatingly, I'll tell you, these folks represented you quite well. We had 20 Red Friday participants rise quite early to participate in this event. Now, I will tell you that once the parade started rolling, the parade itself went quite well. I can't say that quite so much for the staging process. There was a very respectable turnout of spectators present to honor veterans, including a whole lot of kids, which is a great thing to see. So I'm pleased that we elected to participate in the Apache Junction event this year. Now, not only do I want to thank all those who participated, I want to thank our photographer, Lee Hulls, who was the guy behind the camera lens. Go ahead and hit that one time, please. Lee traipsed after us throughout the parade route, and he was snapping photos and probably worn out by the time that we arrived back at the staging area. So to Lee Hulls, our sincere thank you. We do appreciate it. Additionally, a strong shout out to Philip Todd for offering his beautiful Mercedes convertible to support our gaggle of patriots, and also Barry McDonald. Neither of those gentlemen are here today, but Barry also offered up his Jeep, and we want to thank both of them for participating with their vehicles. That was very kind of them, and believe me, we appreciate you offering up those autos. So we thought we'd share just a few photos of the event, just to show you a bit about what you may have missed. Here's a few clips of the parade. That's our lead banner, followed by the American flag, and then we have multiple mid-sized banners and small handheld banners. That Jeep was put in absolute last minute. Can I have a hoo-ah for these parade participants? Hoo-ah! Thank you, thank you, thank you. And speaking of Lee Hulls, our photographer for the parade, I can't really say enough about this man. Over the past several years, Lee has never, ever failed to step up when called upon to photograph our Red Friday events. Red Friday anniversaries, Veterans Memorial Day commemorations, parades. Lee arrives early, stays late, captures countless photos of our group's activities. And today, due to one of our audiovisual team members' inability to be present due to illness, Lee unhesitatingly volunteered to assist Larry Smith with recording the program. So without question, Lee has significantly contributed his time and talent to our program, and we are sincerely grateful to have him as a valued member of our Red Friday family. That said, Lee Hulls, will you come forward, please? Richard. Mm-mm. Come right up here on the stage, young man. Lee, on behalf of our Red Friday group, we want to present you with the coveted Red Friday lapel pin, and I hope that, and I know that you will wear that proudly.
Very much.
Absolutely.
You're going to put it right here on your top. Thank you very much. Look at, he's on his knees. He's on his knees.
I had the sheriff of Pinal County down on his knees whenever. Thank you, appreciate it, man. Let's have a hoo-ah for this man. You know, the month of November is a very special month for Americans because it's truly the month of gratitude, a month of Thanksgiving. November is a time by tradition for family celebrations. Not only does America celebrate Thanksgiving Day in November, but we honor our beloved veterans with a national holiday. We honor our armed forces dependents, their spouses and children, and we honor those who give loving care for America's warriors, their caregivers. In fact, the entire month of November is designated as Military Family Appreciation Month, as well as Warrior Care Month. November is a time to recognize military family sacrifices and celebrate their successes. And during Military Family Month, we're given the opportunity to thank military families for the tremendous contribution they make in support of our service members, their support for military missions, and their support for our nation. No doubt, military life imposes unique demands, and during difficult times such as deployment, especially over the past 2 decades, our military families have exhibited exceptional sacrifice, resiliency, courage. Families provide our service members with invaluable encouragement and love, and they manage the home while their loved ones are deployed. So as we approach the winter holiday season when families across the world come together, we pay special tribute to our deployed forces and their families who are separated on this holiday season. The dedication and strength of military families during a sustained high operation tempo, increased deployment, long separations is an inspiration to us all. The nation understands that families also serve, and we're honored to pay tribute to them. Let's listen to a song by John Connolly that highlights the sacrifice of military families. This is John Connolly singing, "They Also Serve." So, if you are a spouse, a significant other, a family member or caregiver of a veteran who has served our nation, will you take a moment here and please stand? Thank you, thank you, thank you for your service. May I have a hoo-ah for these folks? Hoo-ah. Thank you. God bless our military families and caregivers. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I do have a couple of guests that I would like to introduce this morning. Chuck Van Donsel. Chuck is Chuck is a United States Army veteran. He served 1977 to 1980. He was assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division. Needless to say, he earned those jump wings, and his primary assignment within the division was as a truck driver. What is that MOS? 64 Charlie. So, I'm sorry. We good now?
Hello? Hello?
Good. So, just out of curiosity, what prompted you to enlist in the Army?
Honestly, I was running away from my dad.
You and I have something to talk about.
We can do that, Sergeant Major.
What brought you here? How did you learn about Red Friday?
Gary told me about it.
Cool, cool.
Never heard about this place before, and Gary told me about it, and I came in today, and I'm quite amazed. Thank you all for being here. This is awesome.
We appreciate your attendance here, and we certainly hope that you'll be joining us again soon.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Major.
How about Pat McNeil? Pat, how are you this morning?
Not bad, thank you.
Pat is a United States Navy veteran retiree, correct?
Correct.
You served 1978 to 2005, and what was your job?
Started off as a photographer, and then I wound up the last 21 years was in the intelligence field.
How does that work out, photography and intelligence?
Intelligence takes pictures. It just happens to be from up here.
So, deployments?
Too many. Did Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I was part of the Noriega extraction extravaganza in Panama in 89, 90. And then I was part of in the 80s, part of the escorts of the tankers in and out of the Gulf during that time frame.
Interesting.
Yeah, Subic Bay, Philippines. I was stationed there.
Pat, glad to have you with us today. Thank you for your service.
Dick, I'd like to add, Pat was on the committee for the Southwest Patriot Ball that a lot of us attended.
I thought I recognized you, Pat.
You hang out too much in the post office.
I saw you traipsing up and down those halls. I now recall you. I sure do.
Yeah, I think we actually shook hands at that night.
We did.
Yeah.
That's right. I recall now.
Good. Yeah.
You were quite busy man that evening.
It takes a lot to herd cats like that, but I hope everybody enjoyed the evening, appreciated the evening. Tom Sheets and I were the co-chair, and we are still getting compliments from that particular night. It was
Just out of curiosity, did y'all get a rough head count on how many were attending that evening?
so. Since I started, we've increased 20% each year. We started off with 200 and some people attending. This was my fourth year, and this year we had 623 attending.
You guys don't know what you missed at that ball. It was an absolutely
Yeah.
fabulous program.
And of which, because this year was the 50th anniversary of our departure from Vietnam, it was a welcome home to Vietnam veterans. And we had about 150 Vietnam veterans there that we welcomed home. We gave away 4 service dogs to Vietnam veterans who. It was just really a spectacular evening, really nice.
No doubt about it.
Great.
Thank you for orchestrating that. We appreciate it very much, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do now.
Believe me, if you've done this for the past couple of years, you'll figure it out. Thank you, Pat. May I have a hoo-ah for our guest here? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker for this morning's program, Lieutenant Commander Gary A. Locke, United States Navy retired. You know, across the armed forces, the term Mustang refers to an officer with service in the enlisted ranks before commissioning. The Latin motto, Sortium ab ordine, is interpreted as up from the ranks. Such is the case with Lieutenant Commander Locke, as you will learn as I summarize his extraordinary, diverse naval career. Lieutenant Commander Locke served approximately 20 years in the enlisted ranks, 2 years as a Chief Warrant Officer 2, and completed his tour of duty with 9 years as a commissioned officer. Born in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Gary's family moved to Mesa, Arizona when he was only a toddler. Gary attended public school here in Mesa, and in September 1981, at age 17, Gary enlisted in the Navy. And upon completion of his recruit training, he attended Operation Specialist A School in Damnack, Virginia, followed by his initial assignment to Naval Air Station, Fallon, Nevada, where, serving as an Operations Specialist Third Class, he operated weapons impact scoring systems, providing bombing and strafing proficiency training for strike and fighter aircraft. His first shipboard assignment was the USS Vancouver, an amphibious transport dock operating out of San Diego. It was there that he completed his first Western Pacific deployment, qualified as a helicopter transit controller, and was promoted to an operations specialist second class. Soon after, he was assigned to the USS Halsey, a guided missile cruiser out of San Diego. On board USS Halsey, he qualified as Command Information Center Watch Supervisor, obtained his enlisted surface warfare specialist badge, and completed his first deployment to the Persian Gulf. His next assignment was Naval Training Center, San Diego, where he served as the Command Fitness Coordinator and was advanced to Operations Specialist First Class. Upon completion of Air Intercept Control School, Gary was assigned to the destroyer USS Elliott out of San Diego, where he completed his second Persian Gulf deployment, logged more than 500 air intercepts, completed 2 inter-deployment training cycles, and various exercises. As an Operations Specialist First Class, he had numerous leadership roles to include leading petty officer, air intercept controller, status of resource and training systems message writer, enlisted surface warfare specialist, program coordinator, combat information center watch officer, combat systems training team member, and command fitness coordinator. At this point in his naval career, Gary was promoted to Chief Operations Specialist E7 and reported to Recruit Training Command, Great Lakes, Illinois. During his 3 years at Recruit Training Command, he trained 9 divisions, a division being a naval formation typically consisting of 2 to 4 ships. Furthermore, he taught Recruit Division Commander School and earned his Master Training Specialist qualification. This role is considered one of the Navy's top leadership positions, offering potential career benefits and higher advancement rates. In 2002, while serving at Recruit Training Command, Chief Operations Specialist Locke was commissioned a Chief Warrant Officer 2, a commissioned officer in the United States Navy who acts as a technical and tactical expert, ranking above all enlisted personnel but below all junior officers, ensigns, and lieutenants. Chief Warrant 2 was then ordered to attend Limited Duty Officer and Chief Warrant Officer Indoctrination. The LDO CWO Academy is a 4-week course to transition these sailors into their new officer roles. He then furthered his training by attending the American Integrated Naval Weapons System Console Operator Course of Instruction, and in January 2001, to the USS Kearney, a guided missile destroyer out of Mayport, Florida. On USS Kearney, He served as the operations officer for the John F. Kennedy Battle Group's Cooperative Engagement Capability, a U.S. Navy system that allows ships and aircraft to share sensor data in real time. He further served through 2 inter-deployment training cycles and a 3rd Arabian Gulf deployment in 2002. Additionally, he qualified as Tactical Action Officer, Officer of the Deck Underway, Air Defense Coordinator, and earned his Surface Warfare Officer designation, a leadership responsibility for operating and managing surface ships like destroyers, cruisers, and aircraft carriers. He was selected for the fiscal year 2004 Limited Duty Officer Program, for which he was advanced to lieutenant, junior grade. In February 2003, J.J. Locke reported for duty at Integrated Undersea Surveillance Command, Joint Maritime Facility, St. Morgan, United Kingdom, as a Tactical Watch Officer and Quality Assurance Officer in the Operations Department. During this assignment, he filled a short-notice critical staff billet for 5 months with 7th Fleet as their Surveillance Towed Array Sensor System Officer in Yokosuka, Japan. This is a Navy sonar system that detects submarines by using a long, towed array of underwater hydrophones. In March 2006, he was assigned to the United States Marine Corps, 1st Battalion, 12th Marines, as the Regimental Naval Gunfire Liaison Officer. He participated in numerous exercises, including the Rim of the Pacific Exercise 2006, where he served as the Special Purpose Marine Air Ground Task Force Fires Officer. Also in the Olchi Focus Lens 2006 exercise as a liaison officer with the 6th Marine Republic of Korea Brigade. Exercise Olchi Focus Lens 2006 was launched in an effort to enhance Republic of Korea and United States interoperability by training commanders and staffs from both nations in wartime planning, command and control operations, intelligence, logistics, and personnel procedures required for the successful defense of the Republic of Korea. He also completed 2 combat deployments in service of Operation Iraqi Freedom as the Electronic Warfare Counter Improvised Explosive Device Officer for Task Force Military Police in Al-Anbar Province. He earned his Fleet Marine Force qualification in 2007, and in June 2009, he returned to the Integrated Undersea Surveillance Systems community at Naval Oceanographic Processing Facility at Whidbey Island, where he served as the Operations Officer, Training Officer, Quality Assurance Officer, and Plans and Exercise Officer. In August 2012, he was selected to fill a critical officer gap at Navy Information Operations Command, Whidbey Island, as the Readiness Department head. Lieutenant Commander Locke retired from active duty on 13 March 2013 after 31 years of honorable service. Upon retirement, Lieutenant Commander Locke earned a bachelor's degree in organizational leadership and a master's degree in human resource management. In 2015, he returned to Arizona, where he served as a senior naval science instructor at Glendale High School for the period 2015 through 2018 and Apache Junction High School for the years 2018 through 2023, retiring last year in May of 2024. Lieutenant Commander Locke is the recipient of the Navy Commendational Medal, 6 awards, and the Navy Achievement Medal, 6 awards, among numerous other awards and citations. The Locke family consists of wife Christina, 3 daughters, Colby, Aubrey, and Ashley, and 7 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, here to highlight the merit of the JROTC program as an important platform in contributing to the development of responsible citizens within America's youth, please welcome Lieutenant Commander Gary Locke, U.S. Navy, retired.
I'm a lot more important than I thought I was. Who fell asleep during that bio? I know. That's hard to write, too. Before I continue, I want to say a couple of things that aren't in my notes. To Larry Smith and Dick Nations, I'm not a big public speaker guy, and I'll talk about that in a second. But very professional operation, so nice, very nice job. The other thing, any World War II vets in here? No World War II. Yep, they're falling away quicker than ever now. We have a 102-year-old at our monthly Republican meeting at Leisure World, so doing great, but there's still time. There's a few left. Korea. Anybody Korea? Vietnam. Lots of people in Vietnam. Okay, we'll talk about that here in a second, about storytelling. Okay, good morning. So thank you guys very much for being here. I'm humbled by the opportunity and thankful that people still care. Before we get started, or as we get started, I'll apologize in advance for my long hair. Yeah, you'll appreciate this. A little over 31 years, I always had a flat top, and I've never had long hair. My wife asked me to do it. So, I feel a little bit out of place speaking to a bunch of vets when I consider myself a bit out of standards. Okay, my wife of 33 years asked me to do this, and since she has modified, adapted, overcame, led, surrendered, yielded, and devoted herself to something besides herself, the least I can do is accommodate her and this one request for all the things she did for our family. Additionally, I'd like to recognize Nancy Fassbender. All of you know her. I've been working with her on and off on several different projects over the last 7 or 8 years. In my opinion, Nancy's done more for the veteran community, particularly the Vietnam era community, than anyone I know. I want to be like Nancy. That said, I can't help but wonder how many qualified speakers she went through before she had to settle for me. Okay, thank you to the Red Patriots, American Legion, for hosting the event. I'm grateful for the opportunity to tell a little bit about my story. Of course, I don't have to say much. Geez. As well as some things in the GRTC program, and as well as some things that we may be able to do in the future. Now, admittedly, while generally familiar with the acronym R.E.D, I had no idea where it came from. So please bear with me for the next couple of minutes. According to a 2018 military.com article titled Red Friday, it's a tiny act that means much more than people seem to realize. On Fridays, civilians come back home with an article of red clothing, a shirt, a tie, anything as a reminder to all remember everyone deployed folks. These Fridays became known as R.E.D. Today, as you see this tradition honored by most AAFES workers, military family members, supporters of the troops, it actually got its start about a dozen years ago, which is now about 18 years ago. Let's talk about how this patriotic way of showing your support for the troops that are in harm's way got started and why it's important. There are actually 2 competing origin stories of this unofficial trend. The first says it all began in 2005 with an email that recipients were supposed to forward to others. This email had a very polite snippet in for a good cause. If everyone of our members shares this with other acquaintances, fellow workers, friends, and neighbors, I guarantee that it will not be long before the USA will be covered in red, and make our troops know that there are many people thinking of their well-being. You will feel better all day Friday when you wear red. There's no telling if this chain email tactic has really got people wearing red on Fridays. But if it was, it has to be the truly, one of the only times that people actually read one of those chain emails. So fast forward to March 2006, a more tangible movement in Canada, subscribers to wear red to support the troops who are deployed. Now, there's no telling if this movement got its start from the previous mentioned email chain, but they do, to their credit the American initiative that we talked about a few minutes prior to. So military spouses Lisa Miller and Karen Boyer organized an event and rallied many of their fellow Canadians to show up and wear red. While the red is the color that fits the acronym, it also happens to work nicely for the Canadian flag. Any Canadians in here? No Canadians. All right. About half of Leisure World is Canadian, so I got to ask that question. All right. These events gathered steam, grew continuously until eventually it reached all the way up to the Canadian Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, September 23rd, 2006. Harper led a rally of thousands in support of the solidarity for the Canadian soldiers deployed to Afghanistan as part of the war on terror. Okay, Red Friday seemed to wax and wane in terms of popularity among civilians, but the core of the movement is important to remember everyone deployed. The global war on terrorism is now officially older than the troops eligible to enlist and serve in that same war. It's important to remember that we've still got men and women out there fighting for us. It's not hard to show your support for the troops. Simply pick something red from your wardrobe and be ready to wear it on Friday. Volunteer your time organizing care packages for troops who still need essential items or write a deployed troop. That's always popular. I know from a personal experience that every letter I received was a boost of morale that I happily honored with a reply. Simple gestures go a long way. Remember everyone deployed. So I applaud that organization among many others, especially in a Vietnam-era heavy crowd where America did not hold up its end of the bargain at that time. We're trying to make up for it now. So now we're going to go into the ROTC program. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm showing you. I didn't recreate anything for this because I kind of had something that kind of will delineate the program in and of itself. I'll kind of talk through some things and skip over some stuff for time because Nancy says I cannot go over 3 hours. So, okay, we have programs worldwide. That's something that a lot of people don't know, but there are ROTC programs in Asia, Europe, in addition to the all services programs here in the United States. So this is a thing that we tell parents and new kids or cadets that are coming into the program. So intro, we introduce who we are, objectives, purpose, what we teach, events, opportunities, logistics with your kids, because that's very important. We do a lot of things, so that logistics piece and how to keep the kids safe is actually very important. Grading, fairly standard, expectations, which we actually have them, funding, and then we open it up for questions at the end. Okay, this is my bio. We always do the bio of the instructor, so that's Senior Chief. He's still over at Glendale High School. Sorry, it's caught up with me. Okay, so one of the big things, it's kind of unique. We have some latitude among instructors to be able to kind of tailor our approach to how we can reach these kids. Well, first of all, honor your mother and father or guardian. Get a lot of group home kids. So that is a premise. We have to start off with that. Promote patriotism, develop informed, responsible citizens, promote habits of orderliness, precision, and develop a respect for constituted authority, oftentimes sorely lacking in culture nowadays. Develop a high degree of personal honor, self-reliance, self-discipline, accountability, and leadership. Promote an understanding of the basic elements and requirements for national security. Develop respect for and the understanding of the need for constituted authority in our society. Provide incentives to live healthy and drug-free. Our mantra, broadly, is body, mind, spirit. If you concentrate only on the body, or only on the spirit, or only on the mind, it just doesn't work over the long haul. It's not sustainable. So we address all of those. Yes, we address God in the classroom. So we also develop leadership potential, provide an alternative to gangs. Not that the schools I've been at have had a big gang issue, but obviously it provides, if you keep them busy, it's the idle hands thing, right? So we kind of keep kids busy doing good things, and good things are going to happen to them. Promote completion of high school, assist with academies, college prep requirements, provide information on military service as a possible career choice, because even now in ROTC, only 5% of the kids actually join the military, largely because they can't qualify to get in for whatever, right? Flat feet, asthma, taking all that ADHD stuff, which is it's a killer for these kids' potential service to the country. We are a citizen development period. That's it. Now, there's a lot of military-themed stuff in it, but it will cross over to any aspect of life. Okay, real quick, this is what we teach. You know, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. We also modify that based on, you know, are we heavy on freshmen this year? They just opened it up to 8th graders 3 years ago. So now we have 8th graders, depending on where the school's at, that'll come and join the high schoolers. So depending on what's going on, we kind of modify this, but, you know, history, heavy in history. Events that we do. This is a sample. We do so much. You know, color guard, armed drills, unarmed drills, swords. We do the POW MIA, Old Glory, 13 folds. We do funerals, volunteer stuff, 10K, physical fitness events, land navigation, day and night, Leadership Academy, sailing in San Diego. That's a rough one. And we do it in June. So it's nice. They get out of here, and then they go spend a week in 73-degree temperatures in San Diego. On a typical day, we had 3,500 hours. I'm sorry. On a typical year, we had 3,500 hours of community service. So that is significant, and it's like I was talking to Pat earlier. You guys have heard the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the work gets done by 20% of the people. That is still alive and well in ROTC. So if we have 100 kids, we have 20 kids that are doing 3,500 hours of community service. Quinceaneras. You're probably wondering, why's that in there? I was at Glendale High School, so 95% Hispanic. That was just a way to kind of get into the community and provide a color guard and swords and a bunch of pomp and circumstance for those events. So it was good too. Field days change. We did the football down markers, recycling, adopt a highway. Okay, we also focused on a few things. Testing. So, you know, the SAT, the ACT, a lot of colleges have kind of gotten rid of that now. It's more about other things, which it should not be. But we teach them how to take the SAT. It's okay if you're not that good at math, work on it. Take it again. Same thing, ACT, ASVAB. I've had somebody take an ASVAB and get a 14 the first time and come back and get a 70. So I don't know how that happens. They're just not good test takers. But if you prep them, they tend to do very well. Military educational orientation trips, lots of the year. So various colleges, and I'll just give you one example. So we did a lot of stuff, and I'll show you pictures in the next series here. But at NAU, you know, we have a 50% failure rate in college for our kids, right? Now, part of it is because they're doing things other than their academics, like partying. The other part is they can't read. I mean, the latest stat says the average reading proficiency among Americans, adults, is 6th grade. So it's what I worked out with their professors. So I went to the ROTC unit, the college unit, NAU, and I married up each one of their cadets with one of ours. So they got to, whatever their day of classes was, they got to spend the whole day with them. So that's eye-opening. So that will confirm one of two things. Ooh, I don't want to go to college. I'm not ready to go to college. Or, okay, I can do it. So it's invaluable. It's the only time I've been able to get it done is through NAU. Lots of camping. A lot of these kids, and I'll give you this stat real quick. You guys heard the stat, 99% of the world's population has never been beyond 50 miles of the place they were born. Doesn't sound real until you go to India, you go to China, you go to all these places. Now, even in England, in Cornwall. Who's been to Cornwall? I've been to, there are people there that have never been out of Plymouth. England, it's incredible. So basically, we truly are the 1%. 1% of the world, that's all the people that are traveling, basically. So we do all the college stuff, plus we do all the military stuff. Just some examples: Flagstaff or Camp Navajo, Fort Tuthill, San Diego, Camp Pendleton. You can see a bunch of stuff there. The guy down in San Diego, Fort Bliss, Texas, Hawaii. Hawaii was pretty popular. Basically, for the cost of a ticket, they go spend a week. Now, it's not just fun. We don't take kids there because it's holiday. That's for their families if they want to do it. We take them there and go see all the military stuff. We also go to Washington, D.C. Okay, so just the logistics of a typical camping trip, because this is what we find ourselves doing the most of. You have young ladies and young men in the dark. What could possibly go wrong? Okay. So this is how we would typically have it set up. A big fire in the middle that was maintained by a watch. You had to have a watch with 3 people. 3 people. And 2 people, they might be able to work out a deal. No. 3 people, you're not going to work out a deal. And there's a big fire, and Senior Chief and I would be abreast the fire. So that's kind of, and I've never had an issue in 11 years doing it. Grading system, fairly standard. I'm a simple person, so 90 to 100 is an A, right? They've come up with some interesting grading stuff now. I'm sorry, I'll just tell you this. At Glendale, the principal said one day, hey, it's too hard for these kids that have a 20 to get to a 60. So no matter what they turn in, I'm proposing that they get at least a 50. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I left the following year. It did not get passed. But that's the kind of stuff that's out there. And I'll say something else. If you ever get an opportunity to go sit and watch some of these classes, whether it's the grade school, middle school, or high school, go watch it. We're paying for it. Don't assume that everybody's doing the right thing. Okay, the expectations for students. So it's basically the same thing repeated. It's the same thing for expectations for parents and for instructors. So I won't spend any time. They had to wear the uniform though, which it would seem like an easy thing to make happen until you're a 14-year-old freshman female. And then all of a sudden, people start paying attention to you and that uniform takes second stage. So it is difficult. Tax credit, just like everything else, Arizona's really good about that, right? So if you want to donate money to ROTC units, you certainly can, and it's dollar for dollar for your state taxes. Then contact us, okay? Easy. Pictures are always better than words. So thank you for making it through the first part. Okay, these are just pictures of various events. So many of you will realize this. So when we do camping, it's not just for fun. So you'll see that big flag in the upper right-hand corner. That's at Fort Tuthill. So we go there, we spend the day or the 2 days prior to this event, which is a flag retirement. We go get everybody. So we would have maybe 50, 60, maybe as many as 70 people come watch that flag retirement. Got to keep them busy though. No idle hands. Okay, we do all the colors for football games, among other things. Air rifle. Most of these kids aren't going to get to shoot. I mean, there's a segment, a demographic that hunts and stuff like that, but a lot of these kids never get to shoot. So we start them off with proper training, air rifle, right off the bat. And we've never had an incident. A lot of success stories just in this picture right here. The young lady in front with the glasses, she's at Idaho for an engineering degree. She's a junior now. This is part of an academic team. Call them brain brawls. Military themed, but there's also some cultural stuff in there as well. Drill meets. We used to go all the drill meets. So you can kind of, each unit's a little bit different. Some do more than others, but we tried to do everything. So I guess what you'd call us is the jack of all, master of none. Orienteering, land navigation, essential for these kids. So they have points, like hash runs. You guys remember those? So, you know, you got a compass and a map and points. So you have to go find these, but you run in between. So it's kind of like cross country. So it's a win-win. But again, we do Flagstaff, Prescott, several areas down here in the valley or around the valley. PT competitions, yes. Lots of those. Probably 4 or 5 a year we do those. Raider events for you Army folks. A lot of the ROTC units run specifically by Army do Raider events, which are really, really good. Okay, Apache Junction, they should have been at that veterans event, the parade, weren't they? Okay, yep. Nice. The young lady here, she is in the Navy as a nuclear engineer. For those of you Navy people, the nuclear engineer is probably it's the hardest school. It's over 2 years of training, mandatory night school for everybody. Apache Junction High School. You know, who's seen The Hills Have Eyes? Nobody's seen The Hills Have Eyes? Okay, got to see it. It's a quality B movie. Anyway, love them, but AJ has put at least one person in the nuclear engineering program every year for like the last 7 or 8 years, which, by the way, is a $40,000 enlistment bonus and a $100,000 re-enlistment bonus. So by the time the kid's 25, if they don't jack it up, they are set. So anyway, that young lady did a great job. Here's another statistic. 30 or 40 years ago, it would have been about 90% males in ROTC. Now it's about 50-50. So to some extent, males are advocating their position, even in high school, and females are taking over. Not making an argument one way or another, but that's just how it is. Very interesting. Okay, typically have 100 cadets or 10% of the school's population. That's what the Navy says you have to do to be able to maintain that program. All right. This is just calendar stuff. Okay. A few reasons why. If we can convey this to our kids and grandkids and great-grandkids. Statistically, better attendance, better grades, more in and out of school participation, higher graduation rates, structure, discipline, accountability, responsibility, followership, leadership, necessary life skills, preparation for life after high school. K through 12 loves to say, you know, college ready. Well, I'm not saying college is bad, but we need to be life ready. Citizenship development, communication development. We have speaking competitions, public speaking. That was a rough start to get kids to do that, but once they get it, they're like, oh shoot, I can put a sentence together. It's good. Participating in all the different events. Preparation for academies. Scholarships. All right, anything else? All right, and then it's more of a holistic approach to their education. It's very personal and it's very professional. We care about both. Okay, we do etiquette, we do balls every year, Navy ball, or in some cases we do a military ball and invite Air Force units and Army units and Marine units. Okay, we tell them, bottom line is this, this program may not be for everybody, but too often parents let their kids do nothing. Absolute worst thing we can do for them. All right. Only a couple more hours. Okay. So anything I say is not a personal attack. It's more of a, hey, how I see things And I think some of the things that we need to address. Many of you are already doing it. But the fact that you're here tells me that you understand this. All right, what to do now? Most of us, if not all, will agree that we veterans have been the recipients of much love and gratitude following our service to this great country. Whether through various discounts, tax breaks, verbal appreciation, GI Bill, VA loans, it is apparent that America loves us. May not have been the case a few years ago, right? But I think the country's doing a great job moving in the right direction. Before I forget, Trump just signed a bill that said all the people that refuse the COVID vaccine are having their VA benefits reestablished. So that's great news. All right. Even as with this overwhelming support, there are some statistics and inescapable facts that haunt us. 22 veteran suicides a day. Higher than normal drug and alcohol issues. Veteran homelessness continues to be a huge issue across the country. Too many veterans die alone and lonely. Here's what I'm getting at. Some of us have lost our sense of self-worth. That's what keeps us alive. We used to be in charge of tanks, platoons, ships, aircraft, tens, hundreds, thousands of soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen, only to get out of service and find out things just aren't quite the same. Service organizations like this one, American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Veteran Affinity, and many more, offer the opportunity to reconnect with like-minded folks, and there's nothing wrong with this, though I would suggest that we are missing the mark. Telling our story at any service organization has value, but how much more would it be worth to tell your story to a local high school audience, group kid home, JROTC unit, and even the veterans that have gone before us that are now in assisted living or hospice? They want to hear our story, and we may get lucky and have them tell us theirs. So I mentioned earlier, you know, who here has a parent or a grandparent World War II? Okay, this may ring true to you. I had a grandfather. He just passed at 94, 5 years ago or so. And he said nothing ever about the war until he was like 85. I brought him down here. He's a pilot for B-17 in England, 25 missions. So I brought him down here and flew him on the sentimental journey, which was awesome. You know, he just never told the story. I mean, even to his kids or grandkids, and I get it, but we needed to hear that. So just for fun, I'll tell you a story. That's why this thing is another 2 hours long. No, couple minutes. So he was an aircraft mechanic in the Air Force. And as you well know, 1941, 1942, we're getting lots of planes shot down. They need pilots. Can you walk straight? Can you see basically what's in front of you? You're a pilot. So, so he gets in his aircraft, and they used to fly up around Iceland and to England. So Poddington, England, he went to. And on his 25th mission, well, it wasn't supposed to be his 25th mission, he had 24 missions. Remember back then, 25, you can go home? Okay, not always the case, but it wasn't supposed to fly. Some pilot got sick, and they said, "Lock." He's a first lieutenant. "You're flying." Okay, doing what he's supposed to do. The problem with that is he's with an unfamiliar crew, and they get shot down. I think the plane actually landed in France. So, you know, he makes it out, and he parachutes. A couple of guys got killed right off the bat. Some got captured and went to, but when he ended up ultimately being interrogated, he didn't know the people that were in the plane. So that's kind of one of those problems. But anyway, so he got away, spent 96 days with the French underground and the Belgian underground before he finally made it down to whatever that little city is up the coast there that I'm forgetting. And then they got brought back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did 31 years. Nothing in my story. They had a fake passport. He rode a German troop train And his guidance was this: don't speak and act like you can't hear anything. I would have soiled myself. It would have been obvious. That guy's an American. But, you know, just that story in and of itself, my story pales, but it's not about that. We all think our story's not as cool as everybody else's story, right? But the bottom line is this: we got a story, and we need to tell it. Many kids grow up never having known anyone in the military or heard some of the stories that helped shape America. Only 7% of the population is ever served. That sound familiar? What's it going to be when the baby boomers all die off? 3, 4? The odds of finding somebody that can speak to these things will be harder. Like I said, many of us likely don't give a lot of weight to our own story, but I assure you it will light up a kid's imagination. And take them down a path they never thought possible. Allergies. Okay, here's where I'm going. Our lives are not over. We should not be resigned to or defined by a rocking chair, a wheelchair, a prosthetic, PTSD, or the like. If we're still breathing, we got a mission. Who better to be responsible for taking today's youth under their wing to ensure that our way of life continues? Today's cultural experiment is lacking and doomed to failure. We live in a society that relies too much on academics, nothing against academics, theory, and social justice. We must teach our young men to be men and our young ladies to be ladies. Be respectful of self and constituted authority to work hard and dream big. In a place where merit rules the day. We have value and worth. We're not done. Don't cash in that life insurance policy just yet. There's more to do. Thank you all again for putting up with me. And after a short 5-minute recess, we'll be back in here for the last 2 hours. God bless each and one of you, and God bless America. All right.
Gary,
Yes, sir.
you can set that down here for 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay.
On behalf of this East Valley Red Friday Patriots group, we'd like to take this opportunity to present you with this certificate of appreciation and welcome you to the Order of the Red.
Okay.
This states that we hereby recognize and commend Lieutenant Commander Gary A. Locke, U.S. Navy, retired, for his honorable military service, your veteran and community support initiatives, and support of the East Valley Red Friday Patriots.
All right.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
One moment. In addition, we would like to present you with this Red Friday lapel pin. You'll note that a number of our folks here are wearing that pin, and they wear it quite proudly. We hope that you'll be able to introduce our Red Friday program to some folks that you run into down the way.
I already
Explain
started.
what this program is. Yes, you did.
Chuck, I was told there was a finder's fee.
One moment.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
As a Navy veteran, we'd like to also present you with this United States Navy 250th anniversary lapel pin.
Okay, Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you very much so.
Absolutely. Thanks.
May I have a hoo-yah for this Navy veteran? Hoo-yah! Thank you, thank you. Now, this Navy Cutlass Saber was a specialized weapon for enlisted men in the Continental Navy, later in the United States Navy. It featured a 26-inch carbon steel blade and a brass hilt. The saber's length was designed to follow suit with a much earlier weapon going back to the Middle Ages. It was called the falchion. And the falchion saber was well suited for combat in the confined and often wet spaces of a ship, unlike the longer sabers and swords of ground forces and horse cavalry. It was officially removed from the Navy's active inventory in 1949, but beginning in year 2000, the United States Navy Ceremonial Guard has used a cutlass for chief petty officers, and a dedicated ceremonial chief petty officer cutlass saber was officially authorized March 31, 2010. So naturally, no modern sword or saber used for ceremonial purposes has a sharpened blade, but if you wish to have the blade sharpened and at the ready for that potential home invader, you're welcome to do so. So now you have a little history on this United States Navy cutlass saber. By the way, who knows the difference between a saber and a sword? A saber typically has a curved blade, where a sword has typically a straight blade. Their terms are misused often, but that's the primary difference. So I do have a couple of announcements. Just as a reminder, we do have guest speakers that are scheduled for December 5 and December 19, so please plan to attend to support those speakers that will be spending a lot of time preparing for their presentations. And also regarding our custom printed Red Friday shirts, I have a couple that are up here that have yet to be picked up. And I believe that those are the property of Steve Nolte and Dale Wiggins. Dale is not here today. Steve, are you here? Steve Nolte? I didn't see you earlier today. Okay, if you have orders that you want to turn in for those shirts, please feel free to do so. If you have not yet to order, we do have order forms up here we'll be happy to give you. Folks, thank you very, very much for your attendance today. To our guests, thank you for joining us. We sincerely hope that you'll return to share in our camaraderie, support our mission. Please know that you'll always be welcome here. And as a final reminder, let us not overlook the importance of our Red Friday mission, to keep our deployed warfighters in our thoughts and prayers, and to continue to demonstrate our support for these fine men and women. Enjoy your weekend.